Welcome back, friends. Today we're preparing something truly special. Chicken shawarma, done the old village way. This recipe has traveled through generations, carrying with it not just flavors, but stories of family gatherings and the simple joy of sharing a meal together. If you're enjoying this journey with us, don't forget to subscribe and stay close. Every week we bring not just recipes, but pieces of family life and food history that connect us all. Shawarma was born centuries ago in the Ottoman Empire. Imagine the smell of meat slowly roasting by open fire, neighbors gathering around, children sneaking closer just to catch the first taste. It was never just food, it was a reason to come together. My grandmother used to say, "Your hands will tell you how much salt is enough." That's why her shawarma never tasted the same twice. Each meal had its own little story. The secret to tenderness lies in the marinade: yogurt, garlic, cumin, paprika. I remember my uncle covering the chicken, then saying, "Now we wait." He would leave it overnight, teaching us patience, teaching us that time is the real spice. At first, shawarma was food for workers, quick, cheap, filling. But I've seen it served at weddings too, where the meat turned golden as music played and families danced. As kids, we always fought for the first slice. The crispy edge, dark, smoky, dripping with flavor, felt like treasure. My cousin used to hide his piece under bread so no one would steal it from him. The way shawarma is sliced, thin, delicate shavings, actually changed the way people ate street food. Before that, meat was served in chunks or stews. Shawarma introduced the idea of layering paper-thin slices into bread, which later inspired sandwiches and wraps all over the world. Some villages even kept a single knife just for shawarma, passed down through generations. It wasn't only a tool, it was a family treasure, a piece of history sharpened again and again, carrying the blessings of ancestors into every meal. Traders carried shawarma along ancient routes from one land to another. Each stop added new flavors. I imagine a traveler cutting meat in a dusty marketplace, sharing it with strangers, and unknowingly starting a tradition that spread across the world. For us, cooking shawarma was never lonely. Preparing food felt like preparing memories. What about you? Who do you usually cook with? Some families even had a knife used only for shawarma, passed down through generations. My aunt showed me hers once. It had scratches, a worn handle, but also a shine, like it carried the fingerprints of everyone who had ever sliced with it. My wife is wrapping the filling into fresh lavash, just the way her mother taught her. The smell of warm bread mixing with roasted chicken feels like pure comfort. One little trick: always warm the bread before filling it. The heat makes it soft and flexible, so it never cracks when you roll it tight. Another tip, don't overload the lavash. A good shawarma isn't about stuffing as much as possible, it's about balance. Every bite should hold meat, sauce, and crunch. Did you know the word shawarma comes from the Turkish word çevirme, meaning to turn? It's a direct reference to the slow rotation of the meat on the spit. I've just laid the lavash rolls onto the tray. Soon the air will be filled with that golden, toasty smell. The only rule here, don't forget to flip them halfway through. That's how you get both sides crisp and evenly browned. Finally, the shawarma is ready. It smells incredible, warm spices, roasted chicken, and a hint of garlic. I can see the golden, crispy edges of the lavash, the juices glistening inside. It's a feast for the eyes before even taking a bite. And now the moment we've been waiting for, we get to taste it. All the effort, all the smells, every little family story rolled into one bite. And of course, what's a meal without tea? My wife is preparing it now, the steam rising, the aroma of herbs filling the room. How about you, friends? Do you like your tea strong and bitter or sweet and soothing? I'd love to hear your favorites in the comments. If you've enjoyed this cozy cooking journey with us, don't forget to subscribe. More family stories and recipes are just around the corner. Today we roast a huge gobbler with apple and chestnut stuffing, a family favourite. The crispy skin and tender meat smell like home, and the sweet, nutty stuffing has stories behind every bite. Did you know that roasting a gobbler like this has roots going back centuries? Early American settlers celebrated bountiful harvests with turkey, apples, and chestnuts, ingredients that were both local and easy to gather. Chestnuts were once so prized in Europe that they were actually used as currency in some villages. Families would trade chestnuts for bread or cheese. Imagine that, paying for dinner with nuts. Apples help keep the stuffing moist and the turkey tender. Generations of cooks have discovered that a little fruity acidity balances the rich, nutty flavors perfectly, and it's what makes family dinners feel so cozy and homey. Here's a little pro tip. Roast the turkey breast side down for the first hour. It sounds simple, but this trick locks in the juices, making the meat incredibly tender and flavorful. It's a small step that transforms the whole dish. Stuffing inside the bird is actually a debated tradition. Some say it lets the flavors meld together, while others cook it separately to ensure even cooking. Personally, stuffing it inside feels like bringing the whole family together in one dish. Another tip, lightly toast the chestnuts before adding them to the stuffing. It intensifies their nutty aroma and adds a subtle crunch that makes each bite feel luxurious. Turkeys back then were often roasted outdoors, over open flames. Families would gather around the smoke and aroma, sharing stories and laughter, something that today's oven roasting can't fully replicate, but the spirit lives on. If you're enjoying this cozy family cooking journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join us for more stories, tips, and delicious recipes. While I tend to the turkey, my wife is busy in the kitchen making her famous apple pie. This recipe has been in her family for decades, and the smell of cinnamon and baked apples always fills the house with warmth. Did you know apple pie didn't actually start in America? Its origins trace back to medieval Europe, where pies were filled with apples, spices, and sometimes even meat. A little secret: brushing the crust with a bit of milk and sugar before baking gives it that perfect golden shine. It's the kind of trick that makes family desserts feel magical. Some early recipes used a mix of apples and other fruits like quinces or pears to add complexity. Today, we stick to apples, but the idea of experimentation lives on. What's your favorite family dessert? Do you have a recipe that always brings everyone together? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing your stories. Grate some fresh lemon zest over your apple pie before baking. It adds a bright, fragrant note that balances the sweetness and brings all the flavors to life. Now my wife is slicing fresh oranges to make a fragrant, warming tea. The citrus scent fills the kitchen, blending perfectly with the aroma of the baked pie. There's something magical about this moment. Pie cooling on the table, tea steaming in cups, and calm nature around.
So delicious.
We're finally ready to taste this delicious apple pie with our orange tea. Every bite tells a story of tradition, love, and cozy afternoons together. Meanwhile, we went to dig out our old clay jug from the ground. It's been stored there to keep it cool and preserve the flavor of drinks naturally.
Yeah.
Before we can use it, the jug needs a good wash. Clay tends to absorb earthy aromas, so cleaning it carefully is key to a fresh, pure taste. All right, it's finally time to take our turkey out of the oven. The golden, crispy skin is glistening and the air is filled with that warm, comforting aroma that instantly makes you feel at home. Quick life hack. Let the turkey rest for about 15 minutes before carving. It may seem like waiting, but this step ensures the juices stay locked inside, making each slice tender, flavorful, and melt in your mouth perfect. Look at that stuffing peeking out. Apples, chestnuts, and fragrant spices mingling together. It's a visual reminder of centuries of tradition, of families gathering around tables just like ours. Finally, the moment we've been eagerly anticipating, the first taste. The aroma alone has been teasing our senses, and now the flavors will do the talking. Each slice reveals perfectly cooked, juicy meat and rich, nutty stuffing. Every bite is a memory, a story, a tradition passed down through generations. If you've loved this cozy family cooking journey, make sure to subscribe. Join us for more delicious recipes, fun tips, and stories that turn every meal into a memory. Today we're making chestnut pilaf in a pumpkin and sweet kifli. These recipes carry family stories. Every bite is warmth, tradition, and a little taste of home. Imagine the cozy kitchen, the smells and laughter all around. Chestnut pilaf in a pumpkin is not just a dish. It's a story of harvest festivals in Eastern Europe, where families would gather to share warmth, laughter, and secrets as the pilaf slowly cooked inside the glowing pumpkin. If you love cozy kitchen stories and flavors that carry generations, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep sharing these little family secrets together. Chestnuts have been cherished for centuries as a winter staple. Families treasured them not only for their rich, nutty flavor, but for the hearty sustenance they provided during long, cold months. A little tip: score the shells before roasting so they don't burst. It also makes peeling them much easier and safer. A small trick my grandmother always used. Fun fact: chestnuts are naturally sweet and low in fat, yet full of fiber and vitamins. That's why they were treasured as both a snack and a key ingredient in festive dishes. Another life hack: soak chestnuts in warm water for 10-15 minutes before peeling. The shells come off almost effortlessly and the nuts stay tender. Now let's move to the pumpkin. Baking pilaf inside a pumpkin isn't just visually stunning, it's incredibly practical. The pumpkin traps steam, infusing the rice and chestnuts with moisture and a subtle, natural sweetness. Cut the top off carefully and scoop out the seeds without breaking the walls. You can roast the seeds afterward. They make a crunchy, nutrient-packed snack that complements the pilaf perfectly. Fun fact: pumpkins are full of beta-carotene and antioxidants. Baking them enhances their natural sweetness and releases a subtle, earthy aroma that makes the kitchen feel cozy and inviting. My grandmother would hollow pumpkins while softly singing old family songs. The act itself was almost ceremonial, and the kitchen felt magical as the pumpkin transformed into a vessel of warmth and flavor. Meanwhile, my wife is chopping dried apricots and mixing them with chestnuts and pumpkin flesh. This combination was traditionally used in Eastern Europe to add natural sweetness and texture to festive pilafs. What's your favorite mix of nuts and dried fruits for cozy family dishes? Have you ever tried adding pumpkin flesh to your sweet pilaf? All right, the rice is perfectly cooked, fluffy, and fragrant. Now my wife is ready to fill the pumpkin with the pilaf mixture, a step that turns simple ingredients into something truly special. Here's a handy trick. Pack the rice and chestnuts gently so the pumpkin doesn't crack while baking, but still leaves room for the steam to circulate inside. Another tip, you can sprinkle a little melted butter over the filling. It helps the flavors meld together and gives a slight golden crust on top. Finally, I wrap the filled pumpkin in foil. This keeps it from drying out, protects the skin, and ensures that every bite is moist, aromatic, and perfectly cooked. Now my wife moves on to preparing kifli with sweet stuffing, a pastry that has been cherished in Central and Eastern Europe for centuries. These delicate crescents are more than dessert. They're a symbol of family traditions and festive gatherings. Historically, kifli were baked for weddings, holidays, and special occasions. Entire families would gather in the kitchen, filling each pastry with jam, nuts, or poppy seeds, making the process as joyful as the feast itself. Fun fact, the crescent shape isn't just for looks. It traditionally symbolizes abundance, prosperity, and good fortune, tucked right into the dough for every generation to enjoy. I remember as a child watching my grandmother on a little stool, rolling out the dough with care, humming old folk songs. The aroma of butter, sugar, and nuts would fill the kitchen, creating a magical, comforting atmosphere. Some families hide a single sweet surprise inside a kifli, a little playful tradition. Whoever finds it is said to have good luck for the year, turning the pastry into a moment of delight and shared excitement. Meanwhile, we're sitting back and enjoying these warm, sweet kifli with a cup of tea, letting the flavors and aromas carry us straight into cozy family memories. All right, the pumpkin is ready. Now it's time to unwrap it and reveal the golden steaming pilaf inside, the moment we've all been waiting for. Quick tip: cut the pumpkin into wedges before serving. It makes it easier to eat, keeps the presentation beautiful, and lets everyone enjoy their portion without a mess. While we enjoy these delicious bites, don't forget to subscribe. If you love cozy kitchen stories and family recipes full of history, join us and let's share more of these little culinary treasures together.